This latest episode of 5 Films is with Chris Vautrinot. Chris has been a customer for 18 years, and he brings a real personal touch to all of his selections.
Okay, so film one is Sin City, and it's a good place to start because this is the first film that I remember renting from Snips around 18 years ago. It's a long time. And I remember at the time, like, begging my mum, like, oh, I really want to watch Sin City. Like, it looks so cool. Like, it's got so many cool actors in it. It's got Jessica Alba dancing as a cowgirl. Like, what 15-year-old wouldn't want to watch Sin City? So my mum was umming and ahhing about it. She was a bit conservative about, what to let me watch and what I could and couldn't watch. But she came down to Snips and came for some advice from the knowledgeable Dave and said, do you think this would be okay for my son to watch? And Dave gave it the green light and said it was, silly comic book violence action kind of thing, which I was very pleased about that you gave it the green light, because really it opened my eyes up. Because before Sin City, I'd go to the cinema and watch Transformers, just your sort of average. It was more of like a social event going to the cinema rather than like something that I was really interested in. But watching Sin City, and because it's directed by Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller, and they literally like take the comic book panels out of the comic and put it onto screen, and just seeing like a more of a visionary director that had like a particular style, that was something that was like quite new to me. And in particular, I remember there's a scene in it with like a decapitated head in a car, and that scene was directed by Quentin Tarantino. He like made a guest appearance in it, and that sort of led me down that path. I was like, oh, what's this director? I'd never heard of him. And then it was all these actors I'd never really heard of. What else have they done? So it really opened my eyes to cinema. I mean, maybe it sounds a bit dramatic, but Snips started my interest in cinema, I think. But yeah, if you haven't watched it, I would recommend it. I do actually think it is a film that's probably going to be more appealing to like the 15 to 18-year-old bracket. So I think your recommendation was a good one. But yeah, that's my first pick. So my next pick is Under the Skin. So, if I can get it out. So I'm picking this one because it's a film where I watched it the first time and just didn't get it. Like, I thought it was slow. I thought it was quite boring and like a difficult watch. But it kind of taught me that to give a film a second chance and always think, give a film another go. So if you don't know, it's about so it's directed by Jonathan Glazer, who recently did Zone of Interest, and yeah, so it's about Scarlett Johansson plays this woman who travels around Scotland abducting men. I'm going to spoil it slightly. It is a science fiction, and it's one of my favourite science fiction films now after giving it a few chances. But what I really love about this film is how visual it is, like how clever it is with like plays with the visuals and practical effects. There's a few scenes that are really like surprising, and it's like one of those like magic tricks where you're like, oh, how did you do that? Like, there's a scene. I'm trying to like avoid spoilers a little bit because it's hard to talk about it, but there's a scene involving like a body and the way like the body is harvested, where it like turns into this other thing. I'm not describing this very well, but yeah, I just love the way that like he visualizes the film and doesn't rely on like dialogue to tell the story. But yeah, the first time I rented this from Snips, me and Heather, just my now wife, just watched it. Just like, what is this film? It's so boring and dull. Just like long shots of like a beach or something. But like, I spent the rest of the next few days just like I couldn't get it out of my head. Like I was just thinking about it. And I was like, oh, that scene was so cool. Like, how did you do that? So I came back and rented it again like a few days later, and we watched it again. And both me and Heather really love this film now. And it's one that we like regularly like go back to as well. I think it's one of the best science fiction films, and I really like science fiction as well. So yeah. So my third pick is Turtles Are Surprisingly Fast Swimmers. It's part of the Third Window Films range, and I sort of came across these films. It was actually me and my wife were lucky enough to go to Japan just before the pandemic. And then we came back and we were like, oh, we missed you. Like, lockdown, everyone's bored out their minds, and thought, how can we remind ourselves of our lovely trip to Japan? And so I thought, I know, I'll make it a project and start watching, some more Japanese cinema. And the great thing about Snips, and you wouldn't get this, on streaming and stuff, is that I can like make up my own project and just be like, oh, I'm just going to watch loads of Japanese films now, or I'm going to watch a load of ex-directors' films or whatever. But yeah, loads of great films that I watched during that time. I was lucky enough that Dave and your dad Pete would like hand deliver films to me over the pandemic, which was very thoughtful, kept us going through that. And yeah, I picked this one because it kind of was just so happy and nice, and so reminded me of Japan in a way, like the quirkiness and just the fun cuteness of it. So it's about it's not about turtles, so don't expect that. It's about a girl who is hired by some spies, but it's not really even about that either. It kind of reminds me of when I was a kid and I'd watch The Simpsons, and it would start as one thing and then just be completely about something else by the end of the episode. And it's almost like that, even like within scenes, it'll go from like one thing to something completely different that you wouldn't have expected. It's also only an hour and a half, and I love a short film. I love an hour and a half film. Like, it doesn't overstay its welcome at all. It's really sweet, and I think like it's a good starting point on Japanese cinema. I mean, there's loads of other great examples. One Cut of the Dead, really enjoyed that one. Yeah, there's tons of them. Like Father, Like Son, but I picked this one just because it was so sweet and endearing, and just had a great time with it. So my next pick is Ordinary People by Robert Redford. So kind of similar to the last one, I made a project of watching 80s to 90s Best Picture Oscar nominations that I thought looked interesting, which isn't something you get on Netflix, is it? You wouldn't have like a category like so convoluted like that. But there were lots of films that I watched that weren't great. There were many that I really enjoyed, but this one really stood out to me. Firstly, because I just like never heard of it at all, and I don't know if that's just me, but I'd never heard of Ordinary People. But also because it felt so in touch with today as well. It's very focused on mental health. So basically, the story is it's about a family who have a tragic accident, and one of the brothers dies in a tragic accident. And it's kind of the whole film is after that, and it's sort of like the family like dealing with the consequences of the fallout of the brother dying, and it sort of threatens to like tear the family apart. Donald Sutherland's in it, and everyone in it does absolutely fantastic performance. But yeah, I just felt like this is such like a modern. It just felt so modern in how like open it was, talking about mental health. Like the main character has therapy, and we're like part of that as well. Like really, I mean, I don't want them to remake it because this is as perfect as it is. But you could remake it today, and I think it would slot in with modern audiences as well. So yeah, definitely a highlight. And my last pick. So I've been talking about sort of memorable films that I've rented from Snips, and this is the first one that I really don't like. So it's Blue is the Warmest Colour. And part of the reason I picked this, and part of the reason maybe I didn't like it, is that I rented this out, I'd heard good things about it, it'd been well received, and I just knew that it was, lesbian love story. That was all I really knew about it. And I sort of took it home as the sort of Saturday evening film to watch with my then girlfriend, now wife, and my mum was there as well. And oh my god, no, I should not have picked that as a family film to watch. It's very graphic. It is basically a love story, but the sex scenes are very graphic and go on for way too long. But maybe that's because I was watching it with my mum, and I think she lasted about half an hour, and she disappeared off and started tidying the kitchen or something. But to be honest, I'd rather have tidied the kitchen than watch the rest of this film. It's quite long as well, I think. Yeah, 173 minutes. It's and also, so I don't like it for that reason, but also I think it's directed by a man as well, and it just feels weird that a guy would be directing such like gratuitous like lesbian sex. It's just like doesn't sit right. I just did not like this film at all. But yeah, I mean, there's some brilliant LGBT ones. Actually, recently I watched Love Lies Bleeding, one of the new releases, which was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, want to end on a high. That there was some Carol as well, really like that one. Call Me by Your Name, and what's the other one that I was going? Oh, God's Own Country is another good one as well. But yeah, I would not recommend this one, but yeah.